Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo, and it's time for another week in review, and this time with a new segment. You see, last week I talked about potentially adding a segment about what I played the past week, and it seemed to be wanted, and so I have my handy-dandy phone and my app, BG Stats, and I'm going to run through, before we get into the actual week in review, so timestamps down below as always, I'll run through a sampling of different things I've played this week. Now, I play a lot of games, and so I'm not going to focus on every single last one, but I will go over a bunch of highlights or whatnot in general, and never a full list because some plays I forget, and some plays I'm just not going to be going over. To start with, we have Clank Legacy. So I've actually started Clank Legacy with my wife and one of our friends, Shira. She actually just showed up in a video on Quacklope's channel. She'll probably be showing up on mine. She's someone who's been basically half living with us since COVID started back in last March, and we get a lot of games in, and so a bunch of Legacy games we've been slowly tackling, and Clank Legacy is going to be the newest one. We're currently, I want to say we're on our 4th or 5th play, somewhere I think it's the 4th play. We've done 3 full games. I think we're on our 4th game. Overall, I'm liking Clank Legacy. I don't love Clank Legacy. I like the general system. I played Clank in space like once and decided it wasn't one that I felt the need to own and got rid of, but Legacy games I always enjoy more, and I'm enjoying this one so far. I imagine we will finish it. I imagine we will do whatever and finish the game and move on and not keep it, but yeah, I'm enjoying that one. Then we have Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising, which I did a review with Quackalope, and there's a gameplay on his channel as well. And Elemental Uprising is actually, this is not the first time I played it. I actually played it when I first got the prototype. I got in 2 plays then, and I got another 3 plays in this week in order to get out, well, 5 plays. And there's only 2 scenarios, but I played both scenarios twice, and then once more with Quackalope, and then basically did the review from there. Overall, Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising is one that it's a standalone game in the Kingdom Rush universe, and I like it. I like what it adds to the genre. I particularly like the replacement of events over portals. I like those a lot. There are some things I like better about the original Kingdom Rush, some things I like better about Elemental Uprising. In my opinion, you definitely do not need to own both, but I would say jump in on whichever one you want. You can get both on the current Kickstarter. You can take a look at my should you back it in terms of which one or whatnot in terms of value. I would say all things being equal, I just go with whichever one is cheapest because they're pretty solid. They're both very solid games and pretty equitable. Again, I'm happy to own both. You'll add more variety if you own both, but it's certainly not essential if you're trying to juggle your gaming dollars. Then we had Bloodstone. Bloodstone got a bunch. So I have a few games of Bloodstone I played with James Hudson on TTS before getting the game, and then we actually got the game this time around. We got in like 4 plays over the weekend. Was it 3, 4 plays? And I think we had 2 arena games and then 2 PvP games, so 4 games, and it's basically playing Bloodstone. Bloodstone is going to be a game that I really, really, really am looking forward to. Spoiler for the review, I guess, because the review is not up yet, so this is the problem. Maybe I should actually be careful. Maybe I should be careful about talking about games I haven't done a review for yet. But Bloodstone, which I definitely enjoy, apparently, is going to be an arena combat game with a PvP and PvE mode. I would compare it to Super Fantasy Brawl in terms of where I like it in terms of my collection. It's definitely lightweight. It's definitely more prioritizing the fun over the strategy or whatnot. There is strategic choice, of course, but it's more about just smashing people with tons of damage to their face and having a good time while you're at it. But overall, I'm really liking that one. Then we have Cloaked Cats. Cloaked Cats is I did a review with Ricky already, but it's still hitting the table. Cockroach Poker, or more specifically Cockroach Royal, is one that consistently hits the table every single post-game night when we're like, oh, well, we can get another 20 minutes in. We then proceed to play an hour of Cockroach Poker. I don't know why. It is like our drunk 2 a.m. in the morning game. I say drunk because we're not actually drunk, but just like our drunk tired kind of situation. We don't really drink. I mean, the occasional beer or wine, but not much. Blood Rage, got a great game of Blood Rage in, at which point we did a Blood Rage. We actually got Blood Rage and Innis in. Do I have Innis logged? Oh, I may have forgotten Innis. We got Blood Rage and Innis in this weekend, although it doesn't look like I logged Innis. I forget plays all the time. And that led to us doing a Play This, Not That over on Quacklope's channel with Blood Rage versus Innis, where the 3 of us went at it, and then the comments went at it. So feel free to join that discussion. I'll link to it down below. But it's basically talking about which one's better, Blood Rage or Innis, and why. How are they comparable? How are they not? Let's get into the details and figure it out. Then I got, let's see, we got Yinch, Hanamakoji, Tak. Oh my gosh, Tak continues to be my favorite abstract game. Absolutely amazing. We have a game I'm going to skip because we reviewed, a game I'm going to skip because we're going to review it. I think I'm going to skip in general games that are coming up. A game we're going to skip because I'm reviewing it. And then Creature Comforts. I got a play of Creature Comforts in because I've been talking for a while about how I got rid of my prototype But my prototype went to Jesse, and then I got Jesse from Cracklope, and he came visited this weekend, and he brought the prototype back, and so he did a playthrough of myself, Ricky, and him. Over on his channel, you'll see a playthrough of the three of us playing Creature Comforts, which is fun. It's going to be Ricky's first time being on a playthrough, although I actually have more stuff coming in terms of playthroughs. We'll get to that later when I talk about my videos of the week. Then we have, should I talk about this one? No, yes, I guess so, because I'm not really reviewing this one. Zombicide 2nd Edition. Well, Zombicide, not 2nd Edition. Zombicide Dead or Alive. I shouldn't be saying this. Whatever, it's too late now, I'm not going to edit this out. Zombicide Dead or Alive. I played that one already, and I guess, I really don't plan these things out, apparently. I will say Zombicide Dead or Alive is a game that I very much enjoy. It's going to fall into the category of if you don't need more Zombicide, I will be getting it. I prefer it, based on my one limited play so far, I definitely prefer it over Invader based on one play. I think Black Plague is still going to be my personal favorite, but I like the theme. The miniatures look cool, and I will almost certainly be I'm going to be getting it for sure, but like Kingdom Rush, you don't need everything, so factor that into your own buying decisions, but I'll be getting it. And then there's 2 more games that will be coming up in terms of reviewing. So a whole bunch of stuff that I'll be reviewing, and then a whole bunch of stuff that are games we played. And so that's going to be all the stuff we talk about there. Which brings us to the weekend review. So that was the What I Played segment, which again, I have to figure out how I actually do it. In general, if I'm reviewing a game, I probably will not talk about it until the review is coming. In general, exceptions aside, because Bloodstone made me realize that I probably shouldn't do that. Anyways, week in review coming up. So Saturday, speaking of which, we had a review of Cloaked Cats and Tapestry. Cloaked Cats already is one I just mentioned already. We're still playing it, where my daughter and I really enjoy it. It's fun and easy to get to the table. It is, I don't know what its staying power is like. I imagine it'll be pretty decent, but it's ultimately going to come down to my kids and how often they request it. Kids games in general, generally I get rid of them based on whether they request them or not, but Cloaked Cats is excellent. Tapestry is one that I did a review on. I gave that one a 7 out of 10, and that, I think it was a 7 out of 10. I'm pretty sure it was. It's a solid game. I think Tapestry is a solid game. It's one that I keep wanting to play more and enjoy, but it's not enough pulling me in. I almost would rather play Ganshan Clever if I'm looking for clever interplay between tracks. And in terms of a solo experience, while it's more fun as a solo experience and I enjoy it more as a solo experience, I still enjoy other games more than that. And so Tapestry, while being a solid game, I can see anyone. I got a whole bunch of comments ranging from, you're right, this game is not good, which is not what I said. I said it's not as good as I want it to be. And then I got comments saying it's my favorite game. And I completely understand it. It's a solid engine of a game. Just one that, again, for me, solo, I have little enough time and too much competition, and co-op, competitively, I have a little bit too many issues with the game. Sunday was going to be the top 10 worst games I still own. Now, as usual, I tried to be incredibly clear at the beginning of this video, but as usual, I will always get people who don't fully get it. It's not bad games, not in the slightest. They are games that I own and choose to own, and I don't know when or if I'll be getting rid of them. I'm sure some of them will be gone at some point, but ultimately they are games that I still own. At some point, I may or may not get rid of them, but I have complaints. I have issues with them. Reasons why I think they may not stay forever, and it's just a fun list to... I think it's interesting to look at the worst games I own, just as interesting as it is to look at the best games I own. They're all still in the category of games I owned, but just different metrics as to the highs and lows of our collections and how we look at them. Monday is going to be to back or not to back. Semi-light week in terms of, we definitely had some Kickstarters, no major smash hits or whatnot. For me, the highlight's going to be CoraQuest. Absolutely. CoraQuest is adorable. It is literally a beacon of shining light in the days and world we live in, of a father and daughter who made a game, brought it to Kickstarter, and then the community rose up and supported them. It is amazing. It is genuinely, it is like all the highs you want of Kickstarter, like an indie tiny team that's being brought to life, but actually bringing a quality game with mass support. It really is an incredible story, and so that's going to be CoraQuest. Tuesday is going to be a Kingdom Rush review. Normally my reviews are on Saturday. If the game is large enough, then I'll drop a midweek review, but usually I try to keep them Saturday only. But yeah, Kingdom Rush had launched on Tuesday, and so we got the review up of Tuesday. It's going to be another review I did together with Quackalope. We enjoy bantering back and forth. And then Wednesday was what I did or didn't back, specifically from July, I don't know why I'm saying July, specifically from December and January. There's a whole lot of games here in terms of, I mean, I don't know how many games I covered. I covered maybe 15 games or so, backed around 10, I think, or was it 9, something like that. And from those, my highlight's probably going to be 4 Humors. And I know that I'm saying this even as it's compared against Vindication and ISS Vanguard, but the reason is practical. The reason is Vindication's an expansion, so I already have the game. I'm less excited for it inherently. And ISS Vanguard is one that I am very excited for, but it also represents a beast of a game, a beast of a commitment to get to the table, along with Either Fields, Tainted Grail, and who knows what else. And so ISS Vanguard, as excited as I am, is still a different conversation than 4 Humors, which I can get to the table in 20 minutes and just play a short, fun, little backstabbery game. So 4 Humors, I think, from all the games I backed, is the one most likely to see continuous play. Then Thursday. Thursday was the first time I did a dedicated fundraising video on the channel, which is basically, this is going back to the playthrough comment I made earlier, where I've gotten enough comments and requests for playthrough material, playthroughs with my daughter, playthroughs with my wife, playthroughs with whoever. Again, we have a limited gaming group in the age of COVID, so I imagine it's probably going to be limited to my wife, myself, my daughter, and Shira, who I guess, like I said already, is practically living with us, and then Quacklo when he visits. It's not going to be a very wide range of people, at least not at first, and they're not going to be that frequent. I would say expect maybe once a week initially until I get the hang of it, but it's going to have like a top-down shot and then a regular shot. So you have, that duality of both technical shots, not going to be heavily edited, but it will be back and forth and figuring out what to do in terms of being able to deliver a playthrough experience that you can follow along with. And so it's just it's an excuse to try something new on the channel. It's been requested, and I always want to be iterating. I always want to be doing something different. It's an interesting experiment for me. It's been over a year now, and I'm curious to see what the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years bring, but playthroughs are interesting. I'm curious how it plays out. I'm curious whether they get more interest, less interest. I have no idea. Time will tell, but it's certainly one that I want to experiment with, and so I put up a GoFundMe for this one, and that's because, effectively, practically speaking, the amount of gear I have to get to do this correctly is around $4,500 worth of gear. I need to get another camera. My camera is not cheap. It's one that I waited till the channel grew, but once I had an audience, I wanted to invest in good gear. It's going to involve new lights, new overhead poles, new lenses, a whole bunch of new stuff. Again, roughly $4,500 worth of gear, which is like 3-4 months worth of, maybe like 4 months worth of income of between ads, Patreon, and whatever of the channel. So it's a lot of time and energy to build that back up. And don't get me wrong, having fun on the channel, happy to do it. But I figured if I'm going to run a GoFundMe at any point, if I'm going to run a specific extra drive, now is the time to do it. I don't know where the GoFundMe will be by the time this video goes up. I don't plan on leaving the GoFundMe up forever. It'll be up for maybe a week or so, and then I'll probably close it down, even if it hasn't hit its goal. But that was the Thursday's video, so a drive to get gear for the channel. Friday was Kingdom Rush, should you back it or not, and basically going through Elemental Uprising, all the details there, whether you should or should not get it, and that kind of thing. And then from there we have Saturday. Today, at today's 10 o'clock now, at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a review of Chai with Ricky, and then at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have Cult of the Deep. Cult of the Deep is one that's actually set up on the table in front of me. This is a game that's currently on Kickstarter now, that I've gotten a few plays in, and I have a review coming at 2. Next week is going to have a whole bunch of stuff as usual. I will only tease 1 or 2 videos. On Sunday, assuming things don't change, I'm going to have games I added to my collection in the second half of 2020. I did one of these videos back in July, I want to say, of games I added to my collection in the first half of 2020, and this is going to be round 2. I really need to do these more quarterly. There's just too much stuff to cover, but I forgot, and so now I have to deal with that, because there's like, I think 27 games I added to my collection, and I go through it in the video, but I've played, actually I don't think I actually went through this. I played roughly 100 plus games in the second half of 2020, of which I'm keeping 27. The others are not necessarily gone. Some of them are prototypes, so they don't count. Some of them are games that I added to my collection for now, but I'm less certain of. Those 27 are games that I want to see them still here 6 months down the road. So I think most of them will last, although some exceptions, like Clank Legacy, for instance. We'll talk about that. And then secondly is Monday. Monday is not going to be a should you back it. I believe there are only like 4 new Kickstarters coming this week, and there's just not a lot of updates to go over, and one of those is Kingdom Rush, which I just did a should you back it on, so doesn't need a dedicated video for that. I think the only thing I'm really leaving on the table is Force of Radgost, which I can easily cover next week as well. So instead of that, what we are doing is we're doing an upcoming Kickstarter video, which I did already. I did one for upcoming Kickstarters of 2021, and I think I'm going to start doing a monthly video of upcoming Kickstarters. I find that trying to do upcoming Kickstarter 2021 anyways is a majority from the first batch of stuff, just because you tend to know more as things come closer. So I'm probably going to start doing a monthly video of all the upcoming Kickstarters for the next month. This time around, I'm a little late to the party, so I'm doing February and March, and we'll see how that plays out. But I hope to get into a cycle where I can do one of these once a month towards the end of each month, saying here's what's coming up in the next month. It helps my own list anyway, and it gives you a bit of a heads up as to what's coming. There's some fun things coming that you should watch that video in case you don't already know. There's lots and lots and lots of fun games coming up to tempt your wallet. And that's going to be everything. That's going to be a weekend review, and I am Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I like these weekend reviews. I've said it again and again. They are one of my favorite videos. It's more of a... There's no agenda. It's just me talking to the camera. It's almost like a live stream, just without actually being live or a stream or any of that stuff. But I enjoy them. They're fun. Until next time, I am Alex. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one.